This is where the fun begins.
The fate of the galaxy is now in your hands. With the new LEGO Star Wars Slave One, you can load Captain Solo, arm your weapon systems, man the cockpit, and take off with the most feared ship in the galaxy. But watch out for rebel ships. No matter the enemy, no matter the firepower, you control the action. With the new LEGO Star Wars collection.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this morning's coffee chat. How are you guys doing? I am happy to be here with you guys and missed you last week. So I hear that we have some conspiracy going on in the chat against me, very Sith-like. And I just want to say and ask, what is in your mug today? I am drinking from my Mistress of Rat-a-Tack mug, and I have the specifically so it prints, and you can see my lipstick there 3 times on there because hell, might as well have a Sauce Ventress on the mug 3 times. Why not? And how are you guys doing today? If you guys found me on my stream spontaneous and I can't talk this morning. My spontaneous stream yesterday, you'll know that I was like ranting and raving about the current state of Star Wars, which is Disney for lore, but still there's a lot of things. There's a lot of disingenuous chat about the making of Star Wars and how they're honoring George Lucas's Star Wars, and that's not the case. And we're going to kind of go into that today, a little bit of Star Wars news and talk about Sith culture and just dive into the dark side. And so I'm happy to be here with you guys. And let's go ahead and I know you guys were hopping in the chat since 9 a.m. I did tell you, actually, no, since 7:41 a.m. my time. Man, you guys were just, hopping. All right. And then I also have your the poll up. Do it every single coffee chat now because I think that's a fun thing to do to interact with you guys. And so the question is, favorite Sith order. We have the Brotherhood of Darkness, then the Rule of Two, the Lost Tribe of the Sith, which you learn about in the very beginning. There's a novel about that. And then when you get into Legacy, then you learn more through Vistar Kai. And then the One Sith, and that goes into Darth Krayt and Darth Talon. And so we have a lot of great arcs here, evolution of the Sith here, and just going into a little bit of it, Brotherhood of Darkness. By that time, and even before that time, the Sith were basically destroying each other within. And then Bane came along and realized that that was a faulty thing of them and basically tricked Khan, or however you say his name, to using the thought bomb, which destroyed not only them, but the Jedi there that were confronting them is now what we call the Valley of the Jedi. And then from that, Bane brought about the Rule of Two. So there was some holocrons he studied, including one of Revan. And he came about with the Rule of Two. So we're just going through some brief history because I want to get into the news first and get that shit taken care of. So I'm still a little bit on that dark side of the rant that you guys see me from yesterday. And I'm going to get into the chat with you guys. And then so we have Bane create the Rule of Two, which when we got to Vader and Palpatine, we started seeing a little bit of changes going on there. And, and then eventually, through Darth Caedus and all that evolution, we see the One Sith come about. So very interesting just to see the evolution of the Sith. It's very fascinating and how they handled their evolution, whereas the Jedi, and even Yoda said this, the Jedi basically stayed stagnant and only prepared to fight the Sith that were from 1,000 years ago. And so I thought that was very interesting. So once Luke came along, then he evolved the Sith. And then once Jaina married Jag Fell, then she evolved the Jedi a little bit more into a I would say subdivision, if you want to call that, are a rival school or something like that to the Order as well. So yeah, so that's very interesting. We're not really going to get into the Jedi. We're going to talk Sith today. So we're going to talk Sith today. So on that, so far, Brotherhood of Darkness has 15% votes. So if you guys haven't voted, press that like button, share we're live, and vote. And then the Rule of Two has 70%. I think that's the most common one known. And the Lost Tribe of the Sith, basically 5%. And with them, basically they were some Sith that got stranded on what was the name of the planet? I'm not really seeing the chat right now, but they got I have it at the tip of my tongue, that planet name. And and from there they evolved into their own very unique Sith culture. And then how you have the one Sith basically, and we see that in Legacy, which is a fascinating story. I would have loved to seen the culture of, or the evolution of that after once Ben and Jaina stepped up and Jag stepped up as the big three, I guess you could say. That would have been fun. That would have been fun. So let's go ahead and see what you guys are saying here. You guys are amazing. And good morning from Cali. Oh, you're 9 a.m. Forgot you're 2 hours behind Central 11 a.m. Yes. Soul Assassin. What made you forget? What made you forget? And then plus I changed the time to 9:30 because I had an important meeting going on at 8:30 and it was scheduled for an hour. I got off early, but I still just stayed with the schedule. And then Orange Chat, Sith Talk. I love this topic. Yes, I love it too. And then Soul Assassin, for being so powerful, the Sith have crap retirement plans, right? It's like, once you're a master and then finally your apprentice steps up, you're dead. There's your retirement plan right there. You're gone. You're gone. Okay. And then, hey, Joseph, being evil. Then, hello there. How are you doing, Dermot? McQuaid, how are you? And then again, Joseph, hello. I didn't say hello. I just read what you posted. Being evil, rule of one. Rule of one. You're like, I'm the only. I am the only. Let's see. Soul Assassin, hit that like button. Yes, I agree. And he is just like rule of one. The one Sith. Let's see here. My mistake. I did not see. I typed that multiple times. If I acknowledge, I thought you were just pretty. You're like trying to come up with the point. Like rule of one. Damn it. Yes. Listen to me. Rule of one. I am ruling here. Yeah. Well, I'm the one who rules this roost here at Coffee Chat A. Yes, I'm still feeling it today from yesterday. It's not as that emotion is not as strong as it was yesterday. It's like I read that Vanity Fair article the night before, then woke up to a lot of things going down on Twitter, like resulting from the Vanity Fair, and then seeing these dishonest fans, or what you would call maybe Disney Star Wars fans, I don't know, really, talk down George to defend Disney Star Wars. That is disingenuous in itself, and it just shows their character. It's like, I love Star Wars, but George Lucas didn't know what the fuck he was doing, and Star Wars today now is better. You know what? If George didn't create Star Wars, he knew exactly what he wanted to do. He was always worried about things not coming out and being perceived very well. That was from the beginning. We know that. But if it was not for George's creative mind, his research and all of that stuff, we wouldn't be here talking about Star Wars right now. So, yeah. So I think you need to just take that shit and shove it up your butt. Let's see here. Rowan Deshane, his nemesis is the gunslinger. I think you guys are talking about something here. I don't know which. There's a whole conversation going on way before I started this, and you guys are amazing. You guys already had the chat hopping. You're like, we're not waiting for Laura, OG Star Wars, or Darth OG to begin the stream. We're just going to talk about Sith. We're just going to talk about him without her. We're just going to begin the show without her. He's a quasi-immortal sorcerer, yes. And you guys are just talking in general stuff. Let me see here. And then Joseph Wimp, hello, Darth Revan from the RPG game. But Twi'leks, do I have tentacle fetish? Ayla Sakura and that red Twi'lek dancer. I mean, how are you, OG? George Lucas liked the Twi'leks too. I gotta say that. He loved Ayla from the comics, put her in the show. Loved Darth Talon, wanted to involve her with Darth Maul somehow. And was going to create something to end up being a game that was basically canceled because of the purchase of Star Wars. None of you ever heard of Darth Volin, have ya? Let's see here. And looks like Rule of Two is winning the vote. Yes, it is. That's, I think, because that's the most common knowledge one from fans. So that's easier to decide, but who knows? Let's see here. All right. I know you guys have this conversation. I'm going to scroll down past some of it, but I know that Joseph said that OG Star Wars are yeah, I was not conspiring with Soul Assassin to defeat you. So yeah, there's some bit of conspiracy before I started this live stream. So and then so a little bit of fun going on. Never OG Star Wars, you are the Empress of EU. Let's see here. Oh crap, it jumped on me. Where did everything go? Oh no. There we go. Damn, you guys. You guys are just chatting it away in here. I love it. Oh my God. All right. Let's see. Black silk roast with sugar and hazelnut creamer. Sounds really good. And caffeinated wolf. How are you doing? I hope you are caffeinated up. And you guys can purchase your mug and other merch with Mistress of Rat Attack on my Redbubble. So that's up and ready to go with a couple other designs. I am going to transfer the ones that Redbubble said that is a copyright kind of deal, even though I proved that there's other sources out there that are almost similar that are being sold and okay by them. I'm going to move that to my gallery page where you can just buy prints for now until I get everything settled. And then let's see here. Chaos Man 17. Hey, what's up? In my opinion, the SWTOR Sith Empire is my favorite era of Sith. I can only do 4, and so I kind of use more common ones here. We know that eventually the Jedi and the Sith, the Jedi evolved, and we had a faction of dark Jedi that went on their way and then end up melding with the Sith, and that's how that became. And I know that when we'll get into the full discussion of how they ruled so many planets or sectors and stuff at one point. I love Dark Side OG. Well, thank you so much. Good afternoon. We'll be lurking. All right, Dadman, I'm happy you're here. I am happy you're here lurking. Lurking in the dark, very Sith-like, I'd say. Brandon, the anime guy. Peace is a lie. There's only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The force shall free me. There you go. Korriban. The Lost Tribe were on Kesh. There you go. Thank you so much. I was like, I knew it started with the K, but I was like, it was just one of those things. It's like at the tip of the tongue, you know it. You're like, I know this crap. I know. And it's just at the tip of the tongue. And you're like, someone just help me out here. It's like one of those things. And I wouldn't say that's a boomer thing because I know that even as a teenager and all of us younger age or whenever, we all did that crap because sometimes it's just happens because you haven't discussed about it in a while. Joseph says, forgive me for some of the things you say, or what? Forgive me, some of the things you say I forgot, but feel like I might be a Grievous. Grievous basically was just I guess you could say, a warlord minion of Sidious and Dooku. He was trained specifically to destroy Jedi, yes, and so basically he was another tool. Just another tool. The Sentinel, I like them all, but the Rule of Two is still my favorite. Awesome. Let's see here. Good morning, by the way. La da 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 dee. I don't know why I have that song on my head. La da 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 da. The beat goes on. All right. Galadorn, sorry. Lost Tribe was on Kesh. Oh yeah, I read that already. Didn't I read it up here, or am I just my scrolling and everything jumped and I don't know. That was weird. All right. Hollywood Deaf has Lucas derangement syndrome. They never really, favored Lucas from the beginning. That's why Lucas decided to like break away from the Hollywood atmosphere. There's no director living or dead who both directed or oversaw every single aspect of the filmmaking. So, well, wow, you guys are hopping here. I have 13, 14 of you guys, so hit that like button. Let's see here. As much as people say George made the Sith up in episode 1 in a previous take of Death Star conference meeting, yeah, the Sith weren't fully developed in the OT. And then once he started getting into the PT and once the EU was starting to be fleshed out, that's where George started creating the Sith. And he worked with some of the authors, like for Tales of the Jedi, to develop the Sith and the culture and everything. And then people are like, well, George never wanted the Sith versus Jedi type war. Well, it was created and it was approved. It was created by George and approved by him. So sometimes people don't do their homework. George may say one thing and then usually it's his actions that really contradict what he says. So if you haven't really studied George's, past interviews, and even the company has had to retract what George had said or correct what George said. But if you look at everything he said throughout the years regarding Star Wars film, his ideas versus the EU being parallel, all of that stuff. When you look at his words, his quotes, versus his actions. Actions do speak louder than words. So look at his actions. He's like, I think he didn't understand the hierarchy of tier or the fact that fully understand what it meant, like for his movies being the foundation and everything is created off of that. So I think there was like some kind of misunderstandings for him to state what he had said, but that's just my conclusion. I don't know what was going on inside his head during the time. Holocron Library Fox, good morning, Alora, and good morning to you. And he says, hail to chat. Let's see. Every time the like button is hit, Sith Lords become a Darth. Yes, Darth OG is here. Buy merch. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Gilladorn. Taurus Sith Empire is my second favorite. Golden Age Sith. Yeah. So there's a lot. Like the evolution of the Sith coming from the Jedi early. All that story is really good. And let's see here. Every time, okay, yeah. Jedi Master becomes a Force ghost. Sometimes I can't recall most simplistic and basic of stuff. Yeah, sometimes, and then sometimes it's like the craziest things that people don't remember, like just some crazy fact. You're like, yeah, I know this. And then people are like, wow. So it's weird. It's fascinating how the mind works. Brandon, the anime guy. Yep, Lucas is an outsider and was always treated like such. Correct. The lengths he went through to get the first 3 made, then what he had to do with the prequels, it would have broke most normal men. Yeah, he had a lot of like resilience, I guess you could say, not resistance, resilience. And he also had a lot of discipline for it, but he also worried about like how media and everything would perceive his films and stuff from the beginning. From the very beginning, because he was a worrier, doubter kind of person. That's just his demeanor. If you read all his interviews with that, and he was always afraid how everything would be perceived because he was, basically creating something new and inspired by other filmmakers and stuff, and doing something completely brand new, unique and different. And sometimes new stuff is not revered. People hate change. People hate new stuff, and so but we're here because it was successful, and that's a beautiful thing. I'll become Grievous and defeat the Hollywood, where am I? The prequel trilogy was instrumental to the expansion of the ideas and concepts in the EU. Yes, they melt together. So when I've lately, if you haven't been following like the trends on Twitter, people are like, like trying to say, you can't bash they're trying to use PT quote unquote hate to justify the ST hate or whatever. That like there's this weird crap going on right now. Weird crap. Everybody's either moving the goalposts, they're deflecting all of that, just to justify the direction that Lucasfilm decided to go today with Star Wars. And it's very crazy. It's odd. It's dishonest. I mean, it's intellectually dishonest, really. And they'll bash George Lucas for the sake of the new lore. They will. Soul Assassin says Sith first appeared in the Tales of the Jedi and Dark Empire stories. Yep, years before the prequels. Right, more proof that Lucas was building the lore. Right, yeah. So the Tales of the Jedi and then Dark Empire too, because that's where we started getting the beginning of that. And we got, Luke was curious to see why his dad went to the dark side and how the dark side worked, the Sith worked. He wanted to, learn how to defeat from the inside and learn what made people function the way they did with making those decisions. And yeah, he suffered with, that push and pull afterwards. And it's a very fascinating story. Very fascinating story. Lot of shill cringe on Twitter. Correct. Let's see here. Yep, George Lucas built this. That is all right. In the chaos, it is interesting that the Sith were actually a species first, like the Tong on the Mandalorian. Yeah, the Tong are originally from Coruscant too. So that's a very interesting fact. In fact, I was going through this because I'm using this as reference talk too, because again, some things I will forget. And so having things in front of me is just easier. This poor thing, and I suggest to get it I couldn't find it without the Legends binder or Legends banner at the time. So I have it, but the binding sucks. So if you have this, just be careful. The binding is coming apart in mine. It's been heavily used, of course, because I've read this a couple times through as well, because I am that nerd and I am that kind of woman. It's like, it's something I like. I'm like, okay, we're going to just tear through this shit. Brandon, the anime guy, well, I got to go and have a long work day. Cheers to you as well. Listen in if you can. If not, then just go ahead and catch us on the replay. And then, yes, so let's go ahead and get into the friggin' news. Then we can that will probably just make me cross further into the dark side. And it's about Boba Fett. So, it's about Favreau and Filoni explaining the way their decisions on the direction they decided to take Boba Fett. Yeah. Yep. So we'll get into that. That Vanity Fair provided a lot of material, a lot of like cringy, intellectually dishonest takes, and it's all under the premise of we're respecting George Lucas. Whatever. Yeah. So we'll get into that. So I'm just going to read these last two ones here and we'll get into that article here. But first of all, let's go ahead and put this guy up here. All right. I'll be honest with you. I was only linked with the movies and some of the games, but wanted to learn more about the lore. So maybe I'm a lost cause in some lore. That's okay. Start now. It's never too late. It's always great to reintroduce someone back into the EU, to the original Star Wars lore, where the heart is. So that's what my channel is about. So we are here for you. We are here for you to cross that line where you want to start at, how, what are you interested in reading first. The timeline's so big that you could start from different areas. Let's see here. My phone is using internet, so I'm going to turn it off on my phone side, and then we'll get into that article. I forget sometimes my phone automatically connects to my internet, and then it likes to be a butt. All right. So Darth OG is known throughout the Empire for her vast collection of books, discs, holocrons, and tomes. Yeah. So first of all, before I open the article here, what is your favorite story memory about Boba Fett? If you know him, like if you know his EU story, go ahead and share that. If you only know him through the movies, that's fine. But go ahead and share, like when you first seen Boba Fett or in the EU or what have you, doesn't matter. Share, and then we'll get into the article. So let's get in here. So let's get into this ish and talk a little bit about Boba Fett. For me, what I liked about Boba Fett was, yes, he was no nonsense. He did have respect, and we'll get into this in the article of like the approach of Favreau and Filoni on Boba Fett. He liked working alone, and Boba Fett was still a villain. There's different types of villains, so people forget that there's not just one generic type of villain, right? There's different types of villain. He was a villain, but he went off the code that his father created, and also too was used, that was put in and used for the Mandalorians as well. And so he had there was a little bit of moral complex that he had, but I wouldn't say he's like this morally gray kind of character, because he wasn't. He was not. If he had to fight, he had to fight. He didn't give a shit, so he wasn't this morally gray kind of character. So that's just me in a nutshell with him, just in general. I didn't bring out a scene or anything, just what I liked about him in the EU. So she's kind of like Darth Milady, but with books instead of scientific experiments. Yeah, I guess you could say that. Solo Assassin, I don't like how Filoni made Boba have daddy issues. Yeah, he never did. He highly respected Jango, basically his father. He had great admiration for him. So, but they went ahead and flipped that too. Let's see here. Boba Fett was Mandalore, correct? He was Mandalore. He took up that oath. He was set up for that legacy. He really didn't want it, but after he had to basically put Saisha, did I say his name right? Anyways, out of his misery, he promised that he would take the mantle of Mandalore. And he basically kept his promise. Like I said, there's different types of villains. They're not just this generic type of villain. So people who are like, Boba's not a villain, he never was. Yes, he was. There's different types of villains. And then Darth Filoni Baloney. Let's see here. Boba to me was mysterious. Yeah. I remember he was very mysterious in the lore. Now, we knew what his face looked like because we are like watching this world go down, right? But majority of the time, even though some people, they've kind of tied him to, Jango and stuff like that, for a lot of people, he was this mysterious person because he always kept his helmet on. That was him. I remember enjoying his stories from New Jedi Order, yes, and Legacy of the Force. The Mandalorian lore from Karen Travis will always be the lore I go by. Also, Fett became the richest person in the galaxy. He was a trillionaire. He was, and he also helped set up his wife after, and like in Legacy of the Force, after he found her. And there's a lot going on in his story. There is. It's so well written. And so he basically set her up for life, basically. Or his ex-wife, I guess you want to say. And in a way kind of took care of his granddaughter too, so he never knew how to be a family man. We know that from the lore, but he did try, but he just couldn't do it. Let's see here. Boba Fett fight in the imposter Joda Cost was the first Boba story I remember reading. Awesome cover too. Yeah. Awesome. A Mandalore doesn't rule. They can only give reasonable suggestions, right? And they lead. They don't rule, but they lead. When it's time for war, when it's time to get up in arms and stuff like that, they lead. And so I think that's a big difference that I'm curious to see which way they take this, like, just so I can compare and contrast once it's time with the Mandalorian lore and this Disney faux lore and in the original lore. We already know the direction that they're going to take it from the Clone Wars. Boba Fett boss fight in Shadows of the Empire. Yeah, that's another good one right there. And then Grievous is Also mysterious with multiple saber jokes. Joking. You just love Grievous, don't you? Chaos Man. Also, Boba was someone who rarely took off his helmet. Right. It's a shame how much he took it off in Book of Boba Fett. Now, the Halo show's making the same mistake with Master Chef. You know what? I don't know much about the Halo, but from what I've been hearing from people who are really basically within that lore, like consumed within that lore, and they're not happy either. It's just like this crazy trend of destroying these fandoms now. I just don't understand why. I mean, it's all about like having to insert yourself into the story, which it's supposed to, you're not supposed to. You're supposed to go in there for escapism, you know. So hey, Keck, and you're drinking iced tea. Howdy, how you doing? All right, I am going to pull up the article here because if not, we could just sit here and just talk regular Boba Fett. But I want to go ahead and get this article over and done with so we can go back to Sith lore. Yeah, so let's do this. Let's see here. Stop screen. All right, share screen. Thank you. I wish there was a quicker, easier way, like I can say, share this screen, and then it just like pops up or whatever, but maybe one day. Make sure I click on the right article here. Star Wars, Jon Favreau explains why Boba Fett. All right, so I got it. Here we go. Let me go ahead and just zoom into this. Make sure that, whoopsie, make sure that my image isn't, whoops. Can I scoot it over a little bit? Nope. Okay. So I'm just going to leave it like that because just part of me will be covering it. Let me go ahead and get Keck out of the way. Let's say that in a very nice, loving way. All right. Let's see here. First of all, here is the standings on favorite Sith order. So if you're tuning in and you haven't had a chance to vote, go ahead and vote. We'll have it on for another 15-20 minutes. Favorite Sith order, and your selection is Brotherhood of Darkness, are your choices. Rule of Two, Lost Tribe of the Sith, or One Sith. So go ahead and choose which one you like, you know more about and you like. And the poll will close. It is like 7:02 my time. So, or not 7. Geez, why the hell did I say 7? 10:02, and at 10:20 I will close it out. So let's go ahead and take a look at this right here. And I was going through the article, and that's why it's down below. Let's scroll all the way down because of that. Now, this is Vanity Fair. Star Wars, Jon Favreau explains why Boba Fett couldn't break bad. Did the book of Boba Fett make the villain too nice? The creators say cautious was always his thing. So do you think Boba Fett was always cautious? What do you fans who grew up with the stories, reading the stories, do you think Boba Fett was cautious? So I'm gonna go ahead and peek at your guys's what you guys have to say right here because I am curious here. Let's see here. Reva's not going to be the creator of or the center of the tension. You're all just racist. Every single person I've encountered while criticizing the show. Well, yeah, that's them. Let's see here. All right. So do you think that he was always cautious? So I'm waiting for the stream to jump here to get hopping. Let's see here. On the other end it is, which you guys are talking Twi'leks and stuff. And then Jackson says, more of a combination of forceful and pragmatic. All right. So you guys go ahead and keep sharing. I'm going to get into this article and I'll come take a look at what you guys are saying. So here we go. This is by Anthony Bresnikan. And this was, of course, yesterday. And of course, you guys seen all these pop up with yesterday of these news sources, or you want to, like I share that lightly, but these news sources, reporting what was said in Vanity Fair, because, it's just like with anything, it's algorithm, right? So they're going to go ahead and jump on this ship. So there's an old maxim there's an old maximum that states never meet your heroes. It may also apply to villains. The person behind a legend can never match the larger than life image. Even when it comes to fictional characters, you have to accept them as human beings. What? No, you don't. And this right here, never meet your heroes, it goes back to the sequel trilogy right here. No one had an issue with like meeting Boba Fett after he escaped the Sarlacc pits, after in after Return of the Jedi. Everybody was like curious, what's going to happen next? What's he going to do? Is he going to get revenge? Did he really know that? And Han knocked him down. Is he going to go get revenge? All of that stuff, right? So this is just a bullshit take. All right. What was always that was always the challenge with Boba Fett. The intimidating bounty hunter from the 1980s. Again, the intimidating bounty hunter. So his demeanor was already set by George. Even though he was mysterious, rarely talked, he was all business. He was out of, hunting down people for the sake of money. And that's a type of villain. That's a type of evil. You could say Boba in the original lore had, moral code from what his father created, blah, 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 because of the Mandalorian stuff, the Mandalorian culture and everything. But he was evil. That was his profession. I think you have to have a twisted mind to be a bounty hunter, to be able to do that crap. All right. And then meet with the most despicable people out there. So they say the Empire Strikes Back, whose masked face and returns to speak gave Star Wars fans permission to imagine the worst, which actually, and they're supposed to. He's supposed to be to be feared, basically, which actually made him more ominous and alluring. The more fans learned over the years, particularly about his origins in the prequel films. And no, it was more of his origins basically in the EU first, because a lot of his lore came out before the prequel films. This person needs to do their homework. The more they questioned if they preferred the mystery. What do you guys think? There's a lot of like bull crap going on here. Like, okay, fans, is this writer really talking for you, or thinking for you, or even jiving with you with how you learned what you learned about Boba Fett and how excited you were to learn about him? Because I don't think so. This might be his own experience, but like I say, don't speak for all fans if you don't know. Fett seemingly met his demise in 1983 Return of the Jedi, clumsily knocked out into the maw of the giant sand sphincter with teeth. So basically the Sarlacc. He died like a chump. That was supposed to be joke wise, but then also too, like everything was happening so crazy and hectic and stuff like that. So I seen it both like, okay, haha, that was crazy. But then I also understood like, Han was still blinded by being carbonite. And there was a lot going on. And, Boba did get knocked in his jetpack, which took him down. So that shit can happen. Even though it's funny, it can happen. Not defending that or anything like that. That's just how I seen it. The debate about his legacy raged on. And then, so I will say this right here. George realized how much the fans loved Boba. So he decided to say, yes, he survived, and allowed writers to write more about him after Return of the Jedi. So he decided, okay, if the EU wasn't canon, that wouldn't have mattered. He'd be like, do whatever you want, right? So he's like, yeah, the fans really care for him. We can, and creating a franchise like this is about money. So yeah, it's going to bring fans in to read. It's going to make them money, right? And that's how the movies were too. The movies were created to make money. So people who are very disingenuous about like, oh, well, the EU is all about making money, like as if George just wanted to make money. Yeah, and didn't care about shit. He did. He wanted to make money. He wanted to tell the story. And he also had others help him tell the story in the EU. Some things, yes, he approved on. Some things that he didn't approve on never was published. Almost 4 decades later, The Mandalorian revealed that Boba Fett escaped. No. It was revealed earlier than that. Though giving The Mandalorian credit for revealing Boba Fett escaped, that's such bullshit. Now see, look at me. I am like, okay, so yes, I'm going to go into my rant here right now. This person here, and what's his name again? Holy crap. So Anthony, you are horrible at research and being a journalist. You are very much, I mean, come on now. I think you need to go back to school or something or rethink your life about being a journalist here. For reals. This was already shared with us in the EU long before the Mandalorian. So quit giving these guys credit for something that they didn't fucking do. All right. So being digested for thousands of years. So this is, they're telling like people can be digested for thousands of years. Of course, you don't take 1,000 years to die, but your body is slowly digested even after you die. And though gravely wounded, he was eager to reclaim a seat of power in the galaxy. Boba Fett never had a seat of power. He never wanted the seat of power. So to reclaim it, no, he didn't. He was a man that liked being solitude and working on his own. He hardly took partners. Even when he, got to finally meet his granddaughter, he was very reluctant of taking her as a partner at the time, but that also, he wanted to know what happened to his daughter and to his wife and all that. So that kind of, destiny linked them together, but he always wanted to work alone. He was always a solitude man. Even in relationships, he was always a solitude man. Then the recent Book of Boba Fett series followed his efforts to take control of the crime syndicate previously overseen. And again, this is all just so I'm going to skip all that because that's just something that I already discussed. Like he didn't want power. He didn't want to be a Mandalore. He made Jango wanted him as a legacy to be Mandalore, and then shit happened. He lost Jango. He was orphaned and went through some hellish stuff and growing up and stuff. And he stayed, he did what he always knew as being a bounty hunter as well. And so, and then when, Finn Sisha, after his death, he promised Finn that he would go ahead and take up the mantle of Mandalore. So not only he helped out with the legacy of Jango and what he expected of him, he also, kept to his word. So yes, he did have some morals, like I said, and he did keep his word. And that's even goes with getting his, collecting his bounty. He was honorable in that sense, but other than that, no, he wasn't. He was a type of villain that, a little bit deranged, I guess you can say, for the type of career he's in, because you have to have, I would say you have to be off and away or like tolerate death and destruction and stuff to be the kind of person you are as a bounty hunter. That's why Din Djarin doesn't make sense to me as a bounty hunter. He doesn't. As usual with fandom as vast as Star Wars, there was discord in the discourse. Some fans vented frustration. Boba's Fett, so you got that fucking right. And I already vented my frustration on you writing this article and not knowing your shit. Boba Fett survived all that, only to go soft. Others saw much to like in the show. Who was those others who liked it? I don't know. And maybe I can know of one person, but we're not going to go there. A mid-season shift of focus back to the lead character of The Mandalorian. Now that was widely praised. When you have to shift to another show and then it gets praised over the current show, it's something fucking wrong. And that is laughable. So I'm going to come into the chat and kind of cool my jets a little bit. Let's see what you guys had to say. Yes, you can have a code, but you got to be ruthless as well. Correct. And that's probably the word I was looking for in my little rant. Let's see. Darth Bellany is planning on ruining the Tales of the Jedi next. He's doing, you're right. Boba, not Booba. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, so he was smart. He planned. He was cautious, but he's still fallible. Let's see here. While there are many villains who are more complex, there are some that are just pure evil, but they can be intimidating, scary, and fun to watch. Yeah, so there's different types of villains. Boba hated Han Solo, but Jabba paid him to leave Solo alone since he was his best smuggler. This author knows nothing of Fett. Correct. Let's see here. I could spin circles around this writer with Fett lore. Right. I know. I'm like sitting there like my mind is like, first of all, if you're gonna write, and go ahead and like piggyback off of Vanity Fair about what Favreau and Filoni have been saying about the book of Boba Fett, and you're gonna talk about fans in the past, and the past creation of Boba Fett, do your fucking homework. Do your fucking homework. All right. I don't know, OG, for me, have not read the books, but be honest, but bitch slow love Star Wars. That's okay. You are learning now. I mean, I might not be revealing a lot, but you will understand that they're like this Boba Fett in the new lore is like basically the solar opposite to the one that we grew up and known and loved and all that. So let's see here. Yeah, hold on. I got an important text that came in. All right. So let's see here. So sorry for that air time here. And let's see here, Joseph, but compared to Grievous, we're going to have to specifically do a show about Grievous just for you. So Assassin, does the article writer know about Cassis Vorton, Como Fett, Boba's ancestors? Probably not, considering that he didn't even know that there was a story about Boba Fett surviving the Sarlacc already. Hey OG, sorry I'm late. I was listening to Geeks and Gamers live stream. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for joining. And I forgot to mention any channel members that are attending any live stream between now and July will have a chance to win a copy of the Yoda painting. And Orange Hat, I plan on getting that. I finally have my car, and I'm planning on getting the copies made, and I'll be sending that to you soon. So I'll send you an email regarding that. Gelderon says they should have cast Manu Bennett as Fett, save Tamara for Rex. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, Boba Fett was casted so many times, it wouldn't have mattered really, as long as that there were similar features now that it was revealed with that. Let's see. Boba can be ruthless, but he always kept his cool until you angered him. Example, a bounty offered Boba his daughter. Yeah, that was in Bloodline in Legacy of the Force. And so he had, like, when it came to, because he had a daughter. He had a daughter. Or he had a daughter. And so that would have push buttons for him. Because even though he couldn't be the father, he couldn't be the husband, he couldn't be the family man, there was, some guilt because of that, but he still cared about them. But his pride, his ego, all of that overrided all of it. It's really complex. And this is why I say that these people here, Filoni, and we knew Filoni didn't understand the Fets from the beginning, example, Clone Wars. And Favreau, they don't understand. They don't understand the complexity that was developed around Boba Fett. And so it's very disheartening. And this person is such a clumsy writer. Boba was content to be bounty hunter, but he promised he would step up. I believe it was also Goran Vivine that punched him to keep his promise, or pushed him. I don't know why I say punched. Yeah, so Bavine was basically his right-hand man, his go-to. So whenever like Boba had to go off, he would put Bavine in charge as well. So, and anything Mandalorian culture, he would refer to Bavine. And so that was basically his right-hand man. Fun Star Wars facts. The first gay couple in Star Wars were Mandalorians. Medrit, and Goran Bavine. Right. Yet the Disney shills think there was no LGBTQ representation. And even, I'll go there, even Jabba was another representation of that community. So there was a lot. It just wasn't hand-fisted in and shoved in your face. All right. So happy 20th anniversary Attack of the Clones. Yes, that already passed. I did watch it the other night. Ended up falling asleep to it almost towards the end, which is fine. I was doing a lot of graphic designing and stuff, because that's another job I have, is I do graphic designs. I'm creating a program cover, and then I am creating event flyers for a coming powwow. So, hey, Stig, what's up? This article proves that Filoni and Favreau are and always were clueless. Right. It's just like, it's just, yeah, Canadian collector. Hello, how are you doing? The Sith Empire during the Old Republic. There we go. And yes, let's take a look. Thank you. Right on time. Okay, those who are tuning in right now, go ahead and vote. I'll give you a couple of minutes here. But favorite Sith order: Brotherhood of Darkness, Rule of Two, Lost Tribe of the Sith, or the One Sith. So go ahead and place your votes. I will come back at that in a couple of minutes and close out the poll. It looks like we have a clear winner behind that, and that will be revealed. And let's see here. Everybody saying hello to Stig. Hello, hello. And then it says, oh, there you go. Yeah, the Juani, yeah, right. We have a lot of that, but that basically wasn't shoved in your face. It wasn't just put in there to make people feel better about themselves. It was put in there because it was functional to the story, and it wasn't really made a big deal about. It was very organic. There's a difference between, placing stuff like that in there organically versus as making it very in your face kind of thing that compromises story. And that's, people to understand that. People are like, oh, you're Islamophobe. No. Okay, Orange Hat says, wait, Jabba was gay. He was hermaphrodite. The Hutts are hermaphrodites, so they are both sexes, and they can choose theirs, and they can be male or female. They can impregnate themselves if they want to, or they can have sex with each other. Yes. That's just how it went. So there you go. A little bit of that. We're not going to go into sex ed here now. Let's back away. And the Chaos Man, I think Ferris Olin was, I think they made it, it's like, it was very vague. But from what I recall, they were just really good friends. But like I said, it was vague. There's, so I want to look into that more. The Hutts were hermaphrodites. Yeah. Let's see here. Rule of Two. Yeah, so let me go back now. All right, so it's going to close here. Brotherhood of Darkness, 9%. Rule of Two, 71%. Lost Tribe of the Sith, 11%. And One Sith, 9%. So there you go. That's our standings right there. Is that. So let's go ahead and get on with this article, and then we'll get into some Sith talk. Fun fact today is the 23rd anniversary of the Phantom Menace. And is it the 23rd anniversary of the Phantom? Oh, it is the Phantom Menace. Attack of the Clones just happened. Yeah, there's a lot going on this month. In fact, on the 26th, which is a Wednesday, I am thinking of doing a special type of live stream for a Holocron journal and going into the history of Star Wars and all the movies that came out this month for Star Wars. Let's see here. Hey Stig, I missed all you guys on Twitter. And they ruined Fett. The old EU Fett was ruthless, cold. All right, so let's get into this bullshit, the rest of this bullshit, and then we'll go talk Sith. So basically, where was I at? Okay, here we go. So now series creator Jon Favreau and executive producer Dave Filoni are speaking out for the first time about why they felt Fett had to be more Don Corleone than Walter White in a, and they also say he was also like Conan. I'm not shitting you. In this article, they also say he's like Conan or something, or in the Vanity Fair. In an interview in Vanity Fair News cover story, they outlined their intentions and the logic they followed while making the book of Boba Fett. Logic, you mean lack thereof? Basically, Fett was born to be bad. He was raised as a clone of a ruthless bounty hunter and Mandalorian, orphaned at an early age and forced to fend off for himself or die trying. He lived outside the law for most of his existence and wasn't above siding with the dark side to get ahead. There's your villain side there, see? For him to have a real journey later in life, he had a fucking real journey later in life. The producers decided he should venture in different directions. And did you know, and this will be covered on the spacing, and I'll be on the spacing this Friday. that Kennedy also again stated that there's no books they can refer to on the shelves. So there you go. So she went back to that there was no source material. So we'll get into that here soon, not today, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out for you guys just to kind of stir that dark side in you. You think about Don Corleone, Favreau says, there are tremendous amounts of restraint because he knows that to be sustainable, there has to be peace. Okay, you guys, that's a lot right there. A lot of BS. Boba Fett didn't care about peace. He just went and got the job done. If he had to fight, if he had to be merciless, basically not merciful, and stuff, he was ruthless. I think the only peace that he cared about was for himself. So you don't do well unless there's some political balance, because if you keep going to the mattress, nobody's earning. That's a very interesting dialogue right there. Boba Fett really didn't care about politics, only if he got a bounty and he collected his bounty. Really. So politics was never really about, until he became a Mandalore, which Mandalore wasn't rulers, but they did, oversee political decisions, but it was basically the people that decided them. They just presented basically. And so the only type of political stuff Boba Fett ever had to get into was when he became Mandalore. And that went into the New Jedi Order era. And they had to make that political decision on eventually siding with the New Republic. It's a fascinating story. And then also in Legacy of the Force as well. So there you go. The elder Corleone in The Godfather also rejects the drug trade and resists call to do murder. Well, you know what? Boba Fett really never did shit. He rejected the drug trade. He's like, oh, we got to save the indigenous people, kind of deal. And then he also didn't want to do murder. He didn't want the indigenous people murdered. So what the hell are you talking? I don't think these guys knew exactly what they wanted to do. So they're throwing out some shit excuses, really. Because he also said that the Book of Boba Fett was also inspired by, what do you call it? A man called Horse. Yeah, I'm not shitting you. I'm not shitting you. That's why we got this like mystical Boba Fett doing his dance and sniffing or snorting up lizards. Stability and safety are more important to the boss at the point in his life. He never cared about being a crime lord ever, ever, ever. And this is why fans really frowned upon what was going on in the Book of Boba Fett. And then they didn't execute the point that they were trying to get through well with Boba Fett either. You think about what things are off limits. Don Corleone wasn't just doing everything to line his pockets. As he got later into his career, Favreau says, you look at De Niro in the flashbacks of The Godfather. You know what? So they made Boba Fett like at the end, like, I'm not cut for this. I'm not doing this anymore. So that's what I'm saying. They didn't know exactly where they wanted to go. As he was walking down the streets, he's seen somebody who's actually creating someone that people respect because of the way he conducted himself. There's a lot of different ways to run an empire. Again, Boba Fett really never, like, he was a loner. He didn't want to run an empire. There's the Sonny Corleone way. There's the Michael, and then there's the Vito. One is hothead, the other is cold-blooded, and the last one is even tempered, even if that moderation endlessly divided long-time Star Wars obsesses. Oh yeah, so we're obsesses. Well, Favreau turned the Francis Ford Coppola mob saga for inspiration. Director Robert Rodriguez, who helmed multiple episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, drew inspiration from the sword and sorcery barbarian. So here we go. So he goes to Conan. So now you see you have one creator saying, let's go ahead and go, for example, Godfather. Then we have another creator who says, let's go to Conan. That's why that story was so fucking disjointed, because they weren't meeting in the middle and deciding exactly the plot point and direction they wanted to go for the story. This is just a jumbled piece of hot mess. And this is proof right here with the revelations that these creators are sharing with us. It's very laughable. And then I question why people like this, or why people are defending this when it's scattered all over the place. You hear that they were inspired by Man Called Horse, and now by Godfather, now by Conan. This is why the story is so fucking disjointed, and the ending was pointless, and why they had to bring in the Mandalorian. People cheered and felt better for whatever reason because the Mandalorian was brought. It was interlaced with the Mandalorian. It's like they didn't give a shit about Boba's story whatsoever because there was no consistency. Yeah, so there we go. So let me see anything else that I want to report here, because I think I'm about done here. The Legend of Boba Fett may have simply overtaken the reality George Lucas presented on screen. Boba Fett is a lot different things to a lot of different people. I think that if you really got into his lore post Return of the Jedi, we understood what he was, and I think we all can come to the same conclusion of what he was. I grew up with Boba Fett as a faceless, quiet, mysterious bounty hunter. We all knew was that he was scary enough that Darth Vader saw him as somebody to set out for Han Solo. Favreau says, then by the time you hit the second movie that Boba Fett was in, Return of the Jedi, it was a different version of the character. It was still the same version. He just was caught into a misfortune. And that shit happens. It doesn't mean the character was changed. He got knocked into the Sarlacc pit and passed away. I think people assumed he would have lasted longer in the situation. But no, he did not. Decades later, Favreau devised a story in which Fett claws his way out of the Sarlacc Valley, and he clawed his way out of the side of the Sarlacc through the dirt, which didn't make sense. And that same desperate survivor instinct is what became the core of his ascension to the book of. Oh my God, this is so okay. I think I'm done here. I am done. Let me see what you guys said in the chat. I am done. I am done with this shit. Oh, let's see here. I don't know where to start with your guys's comments. Boba Fett was always someone who had preferred to work alone. Yeah, I think I already read that one. Let's see here. Hey, tabletop junkie. Yep, sounds like Disney, and they are destroying the lore of A New Hope of making Obi-Wan and Kenobi fight. Yeah, I know what you meant. Obi-Wan and Vader. I think that's what you meant. Yeah. Let's see here. But what do we know? We are just a bunch of black-pilled EU elitists, according to some folks. Right. And that's okay. You know what? That's okay. Because I know what I've seen. I am not going to, toe the line and kiss ass and pretend like this is all good and the continuity is well. No. Obi-Wan and Darth. Yeah, I know what you were talking about. That happens. Favreau didn't even know it was canon that Fett got out of the Sarlacc. Nope, he did not. I like his EU exit from the Sarlacc. Burn, baby, burn, right? That was more commemorable, Soul Assassin. Boba took the Sarlacc to squeeze his jetpack and allowed him to escape. Or tickled. I think that's what you meant. Let's see here. Anything else here? Yeah, so that's my little rant on that. So let's go ahead and get into some Sith lore here. Now that I'm fired up, let me take a sip. Let's see here. Yeah, I think I read that one already. I have a question. Would a Sarlacc stomach acid to as much damage his skin that quick as it did? It takes a long time to digest. So to me, what that means that the stomach acids of a Sarlacc is not potent because it takes a long time to digest. He did have scarring and stuff, even in the EU, the original lore from that. But I don't think it was as drastic as Favreau and Filoni made it look to be. And then Stig says, fun to see some of the people who bashed the EU elitists a year and a half ago are now bashing the Kenobi show. Clout before a hint of integrity. Let's see here. Sayo Bible show, please. It. All right. I have an errand, but I saw this in my Twitter feed and wanted to come out and support. So I am going to subscribe and follow to keep up with more streams. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your support and stuff, and I hope that you like so far. I hardly report on Star Wars or Disney Star Wars news, and so hopefully you enjoyed this little rant of mine. Yes, Orange Hat, it died just over 1,000 years. Let's see here. And stake two, yes, years, and it's just a saying, kind of like you will die from 1,000 cuts. It is not literally 1,000 cuts. Oh, I know that. It's like they say that because how long it lasts in there. The person's not going to stay alive for the 1,000 years, but it takes an awfully long time for the Sarlacc to digest, and that's probably a way for them to survive out there in such a secluded area because their digestion is so slow. That's how I seen that. So a Sarlacc can pull down a ship, but has trouble pulling Lando down into its stomach. Yes. All right. So you guys, let's get into the Sith of things, instead of the shit of things, the Sith of things here. So I am excited about this, and yes, I do. I'm gonna cheat because there's things that I want to cover that I'll probably forget because that shit happens. And where am I gonna start at here, though? This is just like falling apart. Like I already ripped one out by accident. Look at that. What poor binding this has. And I was looking at the section here called History of Holocrons, and I think I want to do a video on this because it's so fascinating. So fascinating. So what is your favorite Sith battle? We have the hyperspace wars. We have the Rusan. We have the Rusan, the Shadow of Freedom Nod. Freedom Nod, not Freedom. Basically the Sith War 1 and 2, the second Sith War, all of that, Battle of Rusan. So what is your favorite one? What is your favorite Sith War? Let me know in the comments here, and we'll begin with that and then go into the Sith orders, and then I'm not trying to go all over the place, but I want to try to keep it still in an even topic coordination, I guess you could say, or whatever. But I just want to know. I don't mind. And you look like you have an art stuff behind you. Yes. So we'll come out and check out your other vids, regardless if it's Star Wars. I'm open on stuff. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Good afternoon, OG Stars, and this is Kenny Long. How are you doing? I feel like a weight has been lifted off my heart when I subscribe to a shill Star Wars channel like Hello Greedo, Star Wars Explained, and Eckhart's Ladder. Love you, though. You feel like the weight has been lifted off your heart when I unsubscribe. Oh, I read that wrong. I read subscribed. You unsubscribed. I was confused there for a minute. Disney, and those are Disney shills. I'm probably not saying it right, but go ahead and check out Knights of Malvin. Disney quality sucks on all things, binding books included, right? Yeah. Nod. Freedom. All right, so let's see here. I can't believe I said freedom because that's what rolled off my tongue. My favorite Sith battle. That's a deep question when it comes to big battles. Rusan has a special place in my heart. Personal small duels, Bane versus Sarek, and the second battle, then Zana versus Bane, right? And there's that prophecy. So I did a quiz not too long ago about when was the thought bomb first shown in the EU, or first learned about in the EU. And I'm not going to quiz you guys here. If you guys already know it, you can say. I'm going to say it right now, though. And that was in the Dark Forces trilogy, the last book, Jedi Knight, I believe it's called. And basically, there was a prophecy that was told by the Rusan natives saying that there will be a night will come, there will be a battle, and they will be freed. And so that's who, we know who took up that prophecy, and it was Kyle Katarn. And that was the first time we heard of the thought bomb. and all of that, and then so they expanded on the lore, and so Battle of Rusan and a Darth Bane trilogy, and even the thought bomb kind of alchemy of the Sith was even talked about, and I think in Tales of the Jedi. But basically, it expanded from there. So I thought that was really interesting. I thought that was really fascinating how something that involved one of people's favorite characters, Kyle Katarn, and some of the lore behind that was developed in that, created like the Battle of Rusan and influenced the Darth Bane trilogy as well. Very, very fascinating. Also, when did the Sarlacc pull down the ship? Oh, you're talking about the Book of Boba Fett? I don't know exactly what episode. Say it like it is. Disney shield. There you go. There you go. I say that Hyperspace Wars showed the ancient Sith weren't ready to take on the Republic. They relied on much of the shadows battle, meditation, and Sith illusions. Right. Yep, exactly. And so that was interesting. You got a great point there. But eventually they end up ruling, like, I forget if it was sectors or planets, but there was like 21. So they had a wide range of influence. Eventually the Sith did. So that I thought that was fascinating too. The Great Galactic War, the war between Republic and re-emerged Sith Empire. It's ended not only with the Sith sucking Coruscant and destroying the Jedi Temple, but are sacking. I don't know, but also we're given 2/3 of the galaxy. Right? Yeah, that's legacy right there, right there. And of course, Neil, what was his name? Neil, yeah. He cheated. He defeated the Skywalker, right? But he didn't do it in a fair way. I think that Cole would have, easily, defeated him if he wasn't distracted. But that's just me, and you guys can, expand more on that. Canadian says the Great Galactic War between the Republic and the reconstructed Sith Empire. Let's see, Bane versus Zana and Revan versus Darth Nihilus are some of my favorite Sith moments. Awesome. And let's see here. Not to mention Sith crystal swords didn't fare well against Jedi proto sabers. Right, that's right. That's one thing I didn't think about is that. So thank you for bringing that up. And so the evolution of sabers. Guess who came up with the plasma lightsabers we see today and that Jedi use? It was the Sith. So there you go. So even though people like Sidious frowned upon the weapon of the Jedi, that weapon was adopted and highly used by the Jedi and revered by the Jedi, but it was a Sith invention. But it also shares like how the split of the early Jedi, and they, we had the dark faction, the light faction, and how that started evolving. And so yes, you're right. The Tython duel in the second Bane book, right? And so Tython basically was like the home of the Jedi, and there's reasons why they had to leave the planet because the use of the Force and all that created chaos on the planet. So there we go. Yeah, all right. Yeah, so so that was very interesting. Interesting take there, interesting lore. I was talking about the Sator War. Oh, there you go. See, that's where I got confused. So I'm sorry. But let's go back to legacy and see, it's funny how history repeats. I get confused between the war sometimes because it's always galactic this or that, kind of deal. And so I apologize for that. But when you have like the early wars that were centuries before, and then you have the one in legacy and stuff like that, it's amazing how much Coruscant has been impacted over the galaxy's history, and how some things do repeat because maybe the scenario was forgotten, or sometimes things just happen like in distance timeline that it's like similar to what had happened in the past. So Let's see here. Sith lords of old originally imbued their weapons with dark energy to empower them. And then the first saber that had battery pack, right? And then the weapon evolved from there. Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Let's see here. The Great Sith War. There you go. Let's see here. The original Dark Lords knew about the ancient Sith during the 100 Years Darkness. Sorzas Sin used reports of raids and yeah. And I'm sorry if I'm butchering this. Like if I haven't heard the name on any like Audible, then it's gonna be butchered. But that's just how it goes in Star Wars. I think we've all pronounced Coruscant wrong at one point. Yeah. So and I've heard it pronounced different ways as well. Also, Disney changing the Sith lightsabers work. Yeah, now you can bleed the crystal out. Um, now they must be bled instead of using a synthetic crystal. Also, this creates plot holes for Anakin killing the Jedi, younglings, and separatist leaders. Yeah. The Krath Conquest and Exar Kun's War was called the Great Sith War. Okay, so now in the early years, like Old Republic, pre-Old Republic, who is your favorite character? Like Sith character? So share with me, you guys. So we're going to go back and forth like that. We're going to get into the orders here pretty soon. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I have a tie for first. Sidious versus Plagueis and Crate versus Rylock. Then the Battle of Rusan. Okay. Fair enough. Pretty cool. Bleeding a crystal sounds so wrong. It does. It's like, come here, my precious. I don't know why I said that. Yeah, so it's crazy here. And then you have the Return of the Sith. Basically, is the PT era. And this is where the Sith went into hiding for thousands of years, and within that time frame, they still went and secretly killed Jedi, and some accounts of Jedi death couldn't be explained. And those who discovered Sith were eventually killed off. It's very fascinating, and I'm just saying things in general and brief because there's a lot of history compared to the Jedi. There's a lot more history going on there because the Sith evolved and worked, and even in hiding for 1,000 years and atoning. Basically is what they said the Sith were atoning, hiding, plotting, learning, and all that stuff. We have the birth of, the rule of two and the evolution of the rule of two to where we get to Tenebris and Plagueis and Sidious, and eventually Sidious with Darth Vader. And then after that, we started seeing, like I said in the beginning, we started seeing the evolution of, the Sith under Vader and Sidious and stuff as well. And, under Sidious, he had his Emperor's hands. He had the Dark Acolytes, Inquisitors. There was Inquisitors. Yes, Inquisitors was a thing before Disney. Let's see here. King Addis fighting off the Rakata from Korriban. There you go. And a lot of this I got to go revisit. It's like it's been a while since I revisited some of the ancient Sith lore. My favorite Vitiate, the Immortal Emperor, pronounced I always say Vitiate, but I know it's Vitiate. Yeah, I always do that. See, I always do that. Come here, my precious. Coffee cups looks worried. Yes, she looks worried, doesn't she? It's like, come here, my precious. All right. Tolak Hor. Let's see here. Tulakord, supposedly he was the greatest saber duelist and pulled a starship from the sky. You guys are giving me so much. I haven't produced any lore videos in a while. So I have this. I still have on deck to finish Dark Forces versus Rogue One, my compare and contrast. I kind of put that off to the side. Then I lost my my icon class video after my wreck because it was saved on my phone. I was finished editing on my phone because I do some of my editing on my phone and stuff. So I lost that. So that's why you guys never got that. And icon class basically is the destruction of iconic characters. And so I was doing a video on that regarding Star Wars. And so I apologize, you guys, but a lot of crap has been happening. I feel like everything's finally coming back to where I can get some shit out. Well, I wouldn't say Star Wars shit, but you know what I mean. I finally produced, lore and reviews and all that stuff. So I'm excited. Junta, Paul, Sorzusin, Kronismer, Shojan, and Remulus, Drypia, I hope I said those names right, were the original Dark Jedi who landed on Korriban and founded the Sith Order, correct? So fun. So fun. Let's see here. I'm endless Darth Tenebrae. Let's see. Tenebris actually found his name from idolizing Vitiate's original name, which was Tenebrae, right? There you go. And there's a fun fact right there for you guys. Who would win, Vitiate or the Senate? I am the Senate. I let the fan go ahead and answer that, or the fans, geez, the chat. Let's see here. What do you think the plan was for the remaining one Sith members like Talon, Niall, and Maladi? You know, that's interesting. And that's the thing. We only can now think about what ifs, what ifs after the lore and everything. They may have went into solitude and, basically maybe try to rebuild. Maybe they fought each other for power. Who knows? Caffeinated Wolf, the immortal Emperor Volcreon was on another level, right? We had a lot of awesome, like, very powerful Siths in the early part of the lore when they were basically, forming and evolving and stuff before we get into the PT era. Very fascinating stuff. All right, so let's see here. So then we have, of course, we have the Sidious and Plagueis in that era, and so we kind of see like the Rule of Two being. We don't really get a glimpse of Rule of Two before we get to like Tenebris and them, so we don't have like more of an early count because nothing was written in that timeline. But we kind of give an idea of how it was ran when we do see like when we do read Darth Plagueis and we do see the Emperor Palpatine or Darth Sidious and his interaction with, Vader and, learning about the Rule of Two and what is required of the apprentice versus the master. Volcreon was Vitiate. Let me see here. All right, so let me go ahead and there's a lot of interesting things. I really didn't mark down what I really wanted to discuss other than just have a random discussion with you guys. And so the dark side, Dark Jedi, and I'm just going to go ahead and I shared this on my YouTube, Twitter, YouTube community page, and I'm going to read it to you guys here. Dark Jedi are historically distinguished from the Sith and dark side Force users by heritage and experience. More specifically, Jedi of the Old Republic regarded Dark Jedi as Jedi trained individuals who had abandoned their order's ways to pursue a selfish and malicious agenda of their own design. So there you go. So there's the dark Jedi. That's what that meant for that. So I thought that was really interesting because everybody goes back and forth and debates what a dark Jedi is, the use of it in the lore and all of that. Let's see here. And then we have, let's go ahead and break this down. We have the first Dark Legion, and that was around probably like 24,500 BBY. And then, let's see here. There's 4 stages of the dark side, but I'm not going to go into that. And then the Dark Jedi conflict, so we have like all this, evolution in there. There's one thing I'm looking for that I wish I would have. We have the dark side disciples, Imperial Inquisitors. So, people are really upset. Well, there were, about Inquisitors being used in the Kenobi show. Inquisitors was already a thing back then. This source book I'm using came out in 2007. Let's see here. What do you guys have to say here? Because I want to keep this conversation going. There was a mural of the Great Hyperspace Wars in Palpatine's office in the Revenge of the Sith. Correct. So EU was used for that. She's marking in books again. Oh, the humanity. Yes, I did. But you know what? I'm going to get another one of this without the Legends label. So this one I will mark up. The other one I will keep pristine. I promise you guys. Let's see here. Did I skip Caffeinated's comment here? No? Okay, he was talking to someone else. All right. Chaos Man says, I like to imagine Sidious idolized this Sator Sith Empire, which had several systems and rankings like Moff and Grand Moff. He also made sure to make Anakin's attack on the temple similar to Malgus. So there's a lot. Like when you get into that Book of the Sith, let me go ahead and grab that real quick. So let me go grab that. We're gonna go, since we started at 9:30 my time, I like to stay within 2 hours. So we're going to go for another half an hour and then call it an end. Since we spent a lot of time in talking about that Boba Fett article, that weird take. Oh, I grabbed the bounty hunter code. Wrong one. Let me see here. I just went and grabbed, didn't realize that, the Sith, the Book of the Sith is basically red and the bounty hunter code is basically green. I just grabbed because they were all piled together. All right. Let's see here. So yeah, so this is another fun one here. We have little annotations like from Luke, Insidious and stuff in here. And this goes through the history of the lore and it complements this. I was doing a study. This poor thing is falling apart and it does complement it, but there's also some new stuff like I'm like, okay, so the Clone Wars stuff, but it is what it is. Like you have Ahsoka writing in these books and stuff too, which she didn't need to. She wasn't even, she backed away from the Jedi, being a Jedi. So why in the hell is she writing in this stuff and getting involved like that? That's just my take anyways. Let's see here. I had the Merle. I had that Merle in Star Wars Galaxies. Awesome. Let's see here. 2 other great Sith, Ludo Kresh and Marka Ragnos. Yeah. And then there are so many smoking hot females in the EU. What a missed opportunity for a pinup calendar. Maybe I'll do that and sell that as merch. Giving me ideas. Darth Malgus' sacking of the Jedi Temple on Coruscant was more impressive than Order 66 attack, in my opinion. You know what? Now that I think about it, I agree. Sidious's evil plan and how he tricked and made, basically everybody was victims to his malicious, like tactical ways, like the Jedi, the galaxy, everything, and how he did Order 66, man, that was crazy. That's evil shit right there. But I think you're right on that. Maybe a compare and contrast between inside the lore between Darth Malgus's attack versus Order 66. See, you guys thank you guys for inspiring me for content. That is some great crap right there. Soul Assassin Plagueis had a lot of respect for Vitiate success of immortality. Yeah, and that was his, like, that's the thing he obsessed with is immortality. And that's the very thing that Palpatine basically lured Anakin as learning to save people, because that goes in part of the mortality part of experiment that Plagueis was doing. So evil stuff going on there. Soul Assassin, please hit that like button. Yes. So so that's the coolest thing here. So let me see here if there's something I want to point out in here. You know what? I went to Sith side combat. No, there was Sith armor. So what do you guys think about the Sith armor? Did you guys have opinion about that? I don't think anybody hardly discusses about Sith armor and stuff. We, discuss lightsabers. We discuss, alchemy and their treacherous ways and stuff like that. But what do you guys think about Sith armor? And Caffeinated says, Sidious was all a tactical subversive attack through treachery and deception, while Malgus was just F the Jedi. I'm going to destroy them my damn self. One was more emotional, like bloodthirsty. The other one was like, I'm just going to go ahead and play my cards out and bring the Sith back into rule. So there you go. So that's the difference too. Very good points. Very good point. And it says if Sidious didn't kill Plagueis, he would have achieved immortality. He was starting to grow stronger, increase his midi-chlorian count, and his body was getting closer to the prime state. But then he also got cut off from the Force. The Force started countering back on him. I think that, and this is just my thing and what I think that Plagueis would have died. I honestly do, because the Force, it's like, don't mess with me, and that's the reason why Anakin was created too, was like that revenge, I guess you can say, if you want to say that the Force was getting revenge. Soul Assassin, how come no one remembered Darth Sunshine? The name Zane gave. Oh, that's hilarious. Yes. The name Zane gave Jarrell in the Couture comics. Darth Sunshine. Yes. I forgot about that too. Oh my god. Thank you so much for the laugh. Oh yes. Caffeinated Wolf says Sidious was all. Oh, I already read that one. All right. The Sith warrior armor was awesome. They really upgraded their armor while in hiding. Yes. So I just wanted to, talk about that a little bit too. And then Revan has the best armor, right? So the Sith armor, and then I think at one point, didn't the Jedi have their own armor too? This stuff I have to go back and revisit, like about the armor and stuff, because that's fascinating. Because we had lightsabers that were basically on power pack cords. We had like armor back in the days and stuff like that. So very interesting how the evolution of like the Force users and those two factions, particularly the Sith, since we're talking about them, occurred. And and probably a light training in the Force, all of that. Probably built confidence in them on abandoning armor, and then like the limitations of it as well, movement and stuff. Chaos says, hey OG, are you ever interested in supernatural encounters, the trial and transformation of our whole Hackstrophin? I don't know if I said that right. There was a trailer for it. I'm gonna have to look into it. I do like supernatural stuff. I do like, even paranormal and all that, so shall see. I think Revan's armor was Rakatan in origin. Was it? I don't recall the origin. Malchus was mostly brutal physically, but he was also cunning as well. He was brilliant in manipulation and tactics. I think a lot of Sith have that brilliance in tactics and stuff in some way, shape, or form. Vader's armor was said to be of ancient Sith design. Yeah, like it was supposed to mimic, the ancient Sith from long ago as well. I remember that. Let's see here. And then, so we not only had the Imperial Inquisitors that the Emperor Palpatine created, who were to be, hunt down the remaining Jedi. That's what the Inquisitor's job was. However, we knew that Vader took on specific tasks depending on the Jedi and who was he encountering. So if he knew where Obi-Wan is hiding, he would go after him. If he knew where Yoda was hiding, he would go after him. Then we had the Emperor's hands, and that's where we get into Mara Jade and her background and lore, because even Luke said, like, you weren't really dark. What you thought you were doing was the best, so your intentions were more light side than anything else. And so I thought that was fascinating with what he had to say on that. So, and let me see here. Like I'm just using points here. Let's see here. And there's one thing I wanted to read, but we're going to be closing here soon, so I don't want to read it. But it was Luke Skywalker's take on going to the dark side and pursuing the dark side to, learn more about why his father turned and get behind to see how to defeat them and stuff like that. So I think I'll do a video on that as well. Man, I got all these video ideas. Oh my God, I just not enough time. All right, so let's see what you guys have to say. Let's see here. If you look at Taluk Horde's armor, you see how Sidious modeled. Yeah. I remember, I know that it was, thank you so much, Chaos Man. I knew it was, he was looking at, ancient Sith armor and stuff for that. Malgus was so successful that Palpatine wanted Vader to be like him. Even gave him parts of Malgus's journal to learn from. And then we know that Palpatine collected a lot of Sith lore. So we know that he was an avid collector, and that even included holocrons. So that was very interesting. So the Sith right here, I'm going to read a little bit here. And what's so fascinating about this right here, Jedi versus Sith, is like this is all the collection that Tio and Celusar collected over the years, that Luke collected and was collected over the years, and recreating the Jedi and learning more about Force users and stuff. Like we even have the Force societies or groups in here as well. So, before the Dark Jedi, known as the Exiles, arrived on planet Korriban, and we talked about this just a few minutes ago, in Sith space, and proclaimed themselves as Sith Lords, the original Sith were a species of proud, violent warriors, characterized by crimson hides, glowing yellow eyes, and fierce, predatory profiles. The Sith otherwise appeared as fairly typical humanoids, primitive, superstitious, and barely civilized. The Sith readily accepted the exiles as gods, but also maintained a crude caste system based on their subspecies. The warrior caste, known as the Masasi, became the foot soldiers of the Sith Empire. So there you go. So there's a little bit of that. So, basically those Dark Jedi went in and, helped create the Sith and evolved the Sith from primitives into these like bad-ass Force users. Let's see here. Malgus needs to not die in Satori. He was awesome, reoccurring villain. Yeah. So what do you guys think about the Sith evolution here that I just gave you on how the Dark Jedi influenced and all of that stuff? And here's the Darth title. Basically, many of the Dark Lords of the Sith chose to add the Darth honorific to their name. The very word became synonymous with the wondrous power of the dark side. However, the origins of the word are unclear. While many see Darth as nothing more than a contradiction of Dark Lord of the Sith, or contraction, there is some evidence for a deeper interpretation of the form. So there we go. So I thought that was very interesting. Didn't Set Hearth, the Force user Zana met, have a huge collection of Sith lore? I think so. I mean, I don't recall. Going to go by. Thank you so much, Chaos Man, for coming in. And then, yes, so there we go. Let's see here. Anything else? So let's see here. We always knew that they had a conquest of like the galaxy, wanting to rule and stuff like that. And so that was very fascinating. The Sith code right here. I love it. Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. There you go. And so let me see, like, what do you guys think about the Sith code here? So let me know. What do you think about the Sith code? And then we have the Sith worlds. We have, Korriban is one of the main one. We have Ziost, which is another one. So, and yeah, so let me see here. The thing's not hopping here. It's hopping on the other side. So I have a freeze and the StreamYard's going on here. How fun is that? All right, you guys. So what is your favorite Sith world? We're going to start closing here. And so what is your favorite Sith world? Go ahead and share with me and we'll discuss a little bit of the Sith worlds here. There we go. Let's see here. I don't know if it froze up or what's going on here. All right. Let me take a sip and wait for you guys. All right. So what is your favorite Sith worlds? If you have one. Let's see here. That took a while. My goodness. Sometimes StreamYards can be just... Okay, thank you, Holocron Library Fox. This is You're Still Good. And Orange Chat Review says Zias was purged by Vitiate to feel his immortality. Love how he just nuked it with the Force. Correct. And later on in the lore, Ben Skywalker gets sent to Zios. And by then the planet recovered, but it was very dark energy there. So that was very interesting how that was used. Let's see here. Come on now, work with me. Gotta go with Korriban, the homeworld. There you go. Usually the homeworld is always the best one to go, but I mean, I respect everybody's. Oh, what I wanted to cover is War Beasts. That's the main one. And see, I forgot to mark it. War Beasts. So through alchemies, like on Azios, Korriban, and all that stuff, they had war beasts, either created through the dark side of the Force. And then, in Sith alchemy, we have the Siloth, we have the Warbirds, we have the War Behemoth, we have the Tukata, we have the Hissis. I've always had a hard time with that. And then we have the Terran Tatek. And then the Battle Hydra, the Chrysalide Vergundark, and then the War Worm. And so we have all these like Sith beasts that like were either from the planets or created through Sith alchemy. Very, very interesting. So do you guys have a favorite Sith beast? Let me know. And maybe what is your favorite, lore account with these Sith beasts? And then we'll close out here. Let's see here. Shame what happened to the Korriban later centuries. Now just a tourist attraction. Yeah. Now just a tourist attraction. Yeah. So what is your favorite Sith beast? Let me know. Yeah, StreamYards is slow today. It's crazy. All right. Let's see here. All right. And I think one of my favorite accounts, I mean, this is later lore when in Fate of the Jedi, when they're they're going after Abeloth, and they're in I think, was it Korriban? See, now I'm forgetting which planet it was, and they encountered the Sith. I forget the name of the Sith beast there, but and basically Vistara has to end up like killing a Jedi to save Ben, and she still has to harness her dark side, and so a very interesting story there. So we're gonna start closing out here. My StreamYards is messing up over here. Hissis is there. Just feel like my favorite. Thank you for sharing. Sith Lord must die, overcome death with the dark side to become a Darth. I don't remember that one there, but I don't know. What do you guys think about that one? I don't recall that one, so I will look into that one. Anyways, you guys, so go ahead and share, and we'll start winding down here. So please hit the like button. I had fun talking with you guys here. And remember, if you're a channel member, your name will be entered to win a copy of Yoda Orange Hat. I will be having that copy out for you soon. Excuse me. Yeah, and so let's go ahead and just check out a fun little commercial here. Let's go with this one.
I have fought the worst of all wars and witnessed the redemption of evil. I have seen balance restored to the Force. But order can turn to chaos, as it did when I was born. Now, with my loved ones and my loyal allies, I face a new challenge unlike any before. And I'm not sure this time we can win.
Star Wars Vector Prime by R.A. Salvatore, the first novel of the new Jedi Order.
And then the Terran ticks, I think I said that right, are an amazing creature so dangerous that the Jedi sent teams out to try and exterminate them. Yes. Oh my God. Like, there's so much to cover behind that, behind the Sith, like the lore and stuff. Even their, the animals, the influences they had on animals, creating, beasts and, the worlds and stuff, the armor, how they evolved. You can go and expand on just one area of the Sith and their evolution and have a lot of content to talk about. And my hair is just like crazy today. All right. So you guys, thank you so much for jumping in with me on this late coffee chat. It was only half an hour, later than its normal schedule, but still I appreciate it. I love discussing the lore with you guys and having discussion with you. Hey, Phil. Hey, OG Star Wars. Looking great, my friend. Hope you have a wonderful day. You as well. Have a great day. Thank you for hopping in. And so thank you guys for coming in and, having fun talking about Star Wars with me, about the history of the Sith, and expanding on that as well. You guys have a great day, and may the Force be with you.
Another happy landing.